I got the call to battle Bamalam. They
Yeah.
said, "Yo, Bamalam called you out," and this was when I was preparing for Arcane. And I said, "What is a Bamalam?"
Yeah.
I don't know what Bamalam is. He's in
Some of
Don't
us still
Flop.
don't, man.
Yeah, no, Bamalam
No, he's
don't.
cool.
They said,
Yeah.
they said like where he's in Don't Flop, and I'll be honest, I'm like, okay, what's Don't Flop all about?
Really?
I did not know
really know
anything.
it?
No,
Oh,
I didn't know. I
interesting.
didn't know anything about Don't Flop, and that's why when I went and battled Bamalam, I put all my questionable stuff in my second round, which ended up being one of my best rounds because I just really didn't know what they were gonna like. I just knew that the second round was all my I don't know how they're gonna take this.
I literally have that second round as probably my favorite round of yours, like ever. Like I just
Right.
think quality wise and just in terms of the audience reaction, just the atmosphere of that whole. I mean, that whole fourth birthday event was incredible. But yeah, I mean, silver linings. Okay, so you lose to Arcane, but then you go on Don't Flop and you've built a huge fan base on Don't Flop. Like other than DNA and Sharon, I can't think of anyone else that has been invited back more. I'm trying. So you're at fourth birthday. You're at Verdict. Obviously, you've battled on DF USA as well. You're at Checkpoint, and then so this is your fourth time coming to the UK.
In the UK, Soul Jitsu,
Yeah.
Shuffle T, Bam Lam, Thesaurus, and this. So this will be my fifth time in England. Yeah.
Crazy. And so before this, obviously, you weren't really aware of Bamalam so you don't even though you'd known battling since '99. Don't Flop it wasn't on the radar, and you were being on King of the Dot. No one was speaking about. You haven't watched it. You watched some Don't Flop at this point, or
I had watched Don't Flop, but I didn't know who Lunar Sea was.
Oh, sure.
That's how much I knew about Don't Flop. I did not know who Lunar Sea was. I didn't know anything. I just knew they existed.
Right.
And the thing is, like, as a fan of battle rap at the time, I didn't know what they were doing. I just knew that they were over there.
Mm-hmm.
I was over here. It didn't.
Yeah.
There was no real cross in my mind of let me go watch what they're doing. And not only that, I do like from the time. What I knew of Don't Flop was from Sharon going over the Don't Flop.
Yeah.
And from 24/7 battling in Don't Flop, and I just knew that at the time it was a really big jokes heavy league, and I wasn't telling jokes.
No.
So it didn't seem like anything that I was going to be that interested in, or somewhere that might be interested in me, because it was really at the time, especially during my Grand Prix time, up until the fourth birthday, they weren't really bringing over quote unquote bars, and people there, for the most part, were telling really funny jokes and they're being creative in completely different ways. But what I was doing was not really happening over there. So it just was like, all right, you guys are doing your thing. Cool. More power to you. But, we don't, there's no reason for me to, look into it type of a thing. So, I mean, that's what happened when they said you want to battle and Don't Flop. I said, I was like, do you want to go to England?
Yeah.
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 I mean,
Son, Watts Elementary. It's no mystery. Murder. Shot one. Reverse that. One shot murder mystery. No, it's elementary, Watson. Yes.
that was it. But I'm like, you know what? I probably won't though. And I turned it down. Like, I'm probably not going to take the battle because I have this battle coming up and I might have to battle Caustic. I might have to battle Arcane. And the selling point, obviously I would have loved to go no matter what, but the selling point for me to say, okay, I'm going to split my mind between writing for Arcane and then, because I don't write two battles at the same time.
Yeah.
So it was like, I'm going to have 3 weeks to write for Bamalam, and I'd never had anything remotely close to that little bit of a time to write. So was like, well, if it makes any difference, Caustic's coming. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, well, if Caustic's coming, then I'll go too. I'm like, all right, if Caustic's going to go, hey, what the heck? I'll go too. Let's go have fun in England.
Yeah. And
that's how I ended up going there.
So as a lot, obviously Don't Flop is kind of the league that I'm most of a fan of naturally, but this is regarded as one of the like a great battle. People look, I mean, the whole event was incredible. I think this was the third battle of the day. Says it's the first international of the entire fourth birthday. And you were talking about the jokes thing, which is interesting because this is very much like a watershed event, isn't it? This is where they started bringing over the big MCs. Famously, this is where Shotty Arsenal happened, which I think, as of when this episode will be out, is still the most viewed battle. Although that might be dethroned by Dumbfounded Conceit, which seems to have a bit more momentum on it, but who knows?
Really?
Whatever. Yeah, it seems to have been gaining. I think I was looking at some sort of graph recently on Reddit, and it's just the pace that it's at is more than Shotty Arsenal has ever been.
That's
Like,
crazy.
it's gaining hundreds. Because if you think about it, Conceited obviously on Wild and Out, and Conceited has like over 1 million likes on Facebook. Like he's like one of these
Yeah,
kind
he
of.
might have, he might have 2 million.
Yeah, it's insane, and obviously Dumbfounded's huge for a number of reasons. Just brilliant music, and just was a big.
Yeah,
battle
I guess
anyway.
there's a lot of people who are being introduced to that battle like first, like right
Yeah.
off the bat, over and over every single day. They're like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, let me go watch a battle." Conceited, let me watch a battle. Dumbfounded. Yeah, I feel that. I
Yeah.
had no idea though. I just knew that it was like the most viewed battle of the year it came out, but I didn't know that it was jumping up like that because it's like 7 million views is that battle, or it's close to.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. Yeah, I just it's at 4.1 million now. Conceited, Dumbfounded.
Oh, so still got another 3 million to go.
Yeah. Shotty Arsenal's at 8.5,
Yeah,
so
4
it's got
million.
4 million to go. Still a lot to go, but the fact that
How long are you planning on releasing this?
yeah, well, no, it's just the fact that Conceited, Dumbfounded hasn't been out a year yet, and it's got 4 million views in a
that's
year,
wild, that's wild.
which is Shotty Arsenal's been out for 4 years. So it's just but incredible event, incredible battle, great venue as well. It's a shame that Don't Flop don't use that venue anymore. But so you start off straight into a scheme, like bang into a scheme, where it's kind of like it's hard to sort of. When I first listened to it, I was kind of, oh yeah, these are bands. Oh yeah, these are British bands. On the Radiohead, I'm like, okay, yeah, I know where we are. And then when you go back, it's really, really good. Can't find the cure for the Kinks in this clash. It's nice to hear you referencing what at the time were, and even now are, a pretty obscure, terrible British band, Keane.
No,
Keane,
hold on, chill out. Keane is fire.
Oh really? Okay.
I was a
on that
fan
hopes
of
and
Keane,
fears
so
tip,
chill
man.
out, chill out.
No, everybody's change is not bad.
I was a big fan of Keane.
Oh, fair enough, man. Yeah, no,
But I
they
mean,
were
you don't
huge
have
at
to
the
be,
time.
but I'm just letting you know. That
No, it's all good, man. The Cure, the Kinks, and the Clash I like, but Keane is, and then Joel Watts is a gift really for name flips.
Now, when I
And
found out his last name was Watts, I'm like, oh man, this is crazy.
first round's done, yeah, like
This is wild.
and sort of testament to like your kind of entourage scheme. So the non sequitur, Samuel L. Jackson scheme at the end of the first.
Yeah, sorry, just to be quick,
Sorry.
After the Arcane battle, I was like, I wasn't really a fan of not because I lost. I just wasn't a fan of almost anything Arcane said in that whole battle, and I thought most of it was pretty trash.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that he was much better in almost every other battle. Not almost, in literally every other battle.
Yeah.
But I recognize, this scheming thing is, they love it. Like, people just love schemes. I don't know why. I do it really well. I've got 3 weeks to write. I don't know anything about Bamalam. I don't know anything about Don't Flop. I just know that I'm going to England. So I'm going to use a lot of references, and I'm going to put them in schemes. And they're going to like it or they're not going to like it. And that's that.
Oh my god.
So
oh my
in the
god,
first-
we loved it.
So in the first round, I know they're gonna like schemes most likely because it seems the whole
Yeah.
world likes schemes. I knew that they hated slow it downs, but I was gonna do that in my second round. That's why I said
They confuse us. Yeah.
Yeah, I said, I heard you don't like slow it downs, and I'm like, well, here we go. We're gonna slow it down for the next minute and a half. You know what I mean? And then I'll do a football scheme, which
Yeah.
I was pretty sure they'd like, but I wasn't sure. That's why it was in my second.
Yeah.
If I thought that they were gonna absolutely love it, then I would have put it in my third. But
Oh my god! Like the football scheme, explosive. Like I think that's probably one of the biggest reactions I've ever seen to a scheme ever. Like not only is it really, really well done. I mean, like, were you coming at it? Is Bamalam right? Were you a FIFA fan, or were you just into football or soccer or whatever in general?
No, both. I mean, I'm a big FIFA fan.
Yeah.
Actually, like the actual video game.
Yeah,
I
of course.
I play it. The last time I was over there, I whooped Villain. I whooped Archaic. I mean, like, I'm doing my thing over there. So I'm undefeated over there.
Yeah.
But also like with World Cup and whatnot, I was in the different football pools. And like I actually do really good with the pools and whatnot, and I was following the UEFA the Champions League, and so I mean, I don't watch it like you guys do, like every Saturday morning and Sunday morning and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because for me, it's really actually Sunday morning. Like I wake up in the morning and football will be on at like 8, 9 in the morning.
Yeah. It's weird to think that.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't watch it every week like that, but
No.
It wasn't like I'm like, all right, let's do a football scheme and let's go to Google. I did go to Google anything I missed. You know what I mean? Which I always go to Google. You know what I mean?
Yeah, always. It's interesting because most of the footballs you reference in this scheme are very, very well known. You know, Joe Hart, Lionel Messi, and Missy Neto. You know, which is very clever.
Yeah.
But in the second, in the Thesaurus, where you just do another football scheme, I love the Serbian left back taking more than a Kolarov. Like that's an obscure player. Like, not many people know that Man City. You know, he's in Man City,
and he's Serbian, and he plays left back.
It's perfect, isn't it? It's it's built for it. It's like with the whole with the Joel Watts thing when you do the electric scheme in the first, and it's like, I don't like your conduct, and it's like when the word with the syllables make a new sentence. That's kind of the beauty. And Bamalam kind of, he's decent in this battle. I definitely think
Bamalam's amazing in this battle. Like, if he was, I don't mean to cut you off, but I mean, if Bamalam wasn't amazing in this battle, then he would have been destroyed. Because you have to realize, like, in the big end, like, I went first. I think we flipped a coin.
Yeah,
I went first, and I killed the room. Like, I shut it down. I was like, this is great. When they said my name, they cheered more than when they said his name, which all of it was a surprise to me. I expected them, when I walked in the building, people were like, 100 bullets. I'm like, how do...
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you have to understand, like...
It's the guy from the bully battle.
Like, no, I mean, like, I didn't really know what Don't Flop was. And they knew who I was.
Yeah, it must have been
so I'm not even talking about the fans. I'm talking about really the league as a whole. I don't know shoddy horror. Like, there's a part in that battle where you look at me and I'm sitting up on stage and everything is just going crazy around me during shoddy horror's first round.
I know exactly the shot.
I'm completely dead still, and it was because I was like,
you've got your glasses on.
I was literally like, I don't know if these guys are going to be biased, so I'm not going to be a part of this. And if I see them start reacting to to Arsenal, then I'll get and then I'll enjoy the battle too. Like, that's what it was. I literally refused to be a part of it if they were going to be biased. And then I'm like, oh, this is just like the greatest crowd I've ever seen in my entire life. And then from after like in the middle of Arsenal's first round, I'm like, oh man, this is wild.
Oh,
and then I just enjoyed the battle like everybody else, but I didn't know anything.
No,
I didn't know anything. So, yeah, I mean, so it was just really strange. So in the first round, I killed it, and then he came right back with a lot of good material, stuff that I had never heard said to me before. Some really good schemes, your primitive bullets, archery,
yes,
really good stuff.
Yeah.
And then in the second round, I killed it even more. And had he been even average, then it would have been a complete landslide. And I know my third round, it was another complete. Yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah,
but nobody says, like, Bulletz was destroying him and then he had a implosion in the third. They say it was a great battle going into the third, and then he imploded. So. And
and it's just kind of some original thoughts by Bamalam, or some original references where he talked about he brings up the dead family angle that you were talking about, and he compares you to Ayrton Senna, the Argentinian Formula One driver, for crashing out the Grand Prix. Which I just thought was just quite, it's not that original when I'm saying it, but like when he said it, I really, really like that thing. And when I was kind of making my notes and stuff, one of the things that I did realise that Bam, even though he had the home advantage, I think he tried out 10 months before, so he's still a very, very new face to a lot of the crowd. He wasn't kind of the established kind of dialect slayer that he's kind of known as now.
Right.
But you're just getting more reaction. People are just enjoying your stuff more. And I just want to kind of, just a few things that are crazy in the second as well. The whole no disguise. I used to love that shit. That's not that I don't love it now, but I've just watched this battle so many times. But I remember just, me and my friends used to always quote that. And the whole debate in your lines reeled them in. The reverse punch line, the Sherlock Holmes. It's a crazy round. Like it's an absolute annihilation. Like, and then the third is, because I've watched a lot of your battles and I haven't really seen you choking at all. Was this very much an anomaly?
Yeah, I mean, what happened was, before every battle, I mean, even this battle with Unanimous, I'm trying to get everything down pat, like, right now, so I can finish and have, like, lots of time to memorize. Yeah. But I always do, like, no homo, but like choke training,
Right.
I'll do things like, physical and spit my verses so that I'm tired. I'll, do them when I'm tired. I'm just always finding different ways and rapping them on over the phone, and then people cut me off. And at the time, if I was living near anybody, I'd rap it in front of them, and then they do other things against thesaurus. I literally had Sharon saying, "I don't get it, I don't get it, I don't get it." So like when he was saying that in the battle, I had actually already prepared for that. So I really, there's 3 reasons most people choke. The most reason people choke is because they don't get the reaction they expect. They spit a bar, and then they thought that the world was going to stop and bow to their feet, and it doesn't happen. And they're like, "Really, guys, that was amazing." And then they completely lose the train of thought. The second is getting reaction when they don't expect it. And then the third is something happening in the audience or something that throws them off. Those are most chokes.
Yes.
So I've always been, or not preparing. You just haven't prepared properly. I was prepared for everything, but something that I never practiced for, something that I wasn't aware of, and something that's never happened since, well, I call it the Cloud 9 choke. And that's what happened. I got out of round 2, and I was on Cloud 9.
Yeah.
I was like, this couldn't go any better. I'm winning. I don't even care. I'm in England. They love me here. This is really crazy. And then, they started the round 3, and I was like, I'm going to do 2 flips, real flips, not even, I'm just going to, I do play FIFA. I'm the number, and I did do this. And then it was like normally between rounds, I'm keeping the first line of my next round in my head. I'm always prepared to start my next round whenever they're done. And I just hadn't thought of my third round for a long time. And it was like, all right, Bulletz, it's on you. And I still wasn't thinking about my third round. It was so crazy. I was just like, yeah, let's do a flip. Hey, let's do another flip. You know what I mean? Like, and then it was like, oh, I'm still in the battle. I completely forgot. I was in a battle. I had no idea what I was supposed to do. I was completely dead in the water. And then by the time I remembered what it was, then I was like in panic mode where, you choke and then you don't want to choke again. And then I could have stopped it a few times and just got out of it nice and early. But I was really fighting back because I was still feeling like, oh, man, just, just crawl across the finish line and everything will be okay. You know what I mean? And then I'm asking him, what am I going to say next? Because I know I have all these great slow it downs. And then like the whole British, I don't care attitude hits me and like
a cold slap, isn't it?
I don't finish the race. I break my leg, and you know what I mean. Like our car runs over me. It was just an absolute atrocity in that third round. But yeah, that was why I choked. I choked because things were going so good that I forgot to keep battling.
Well, that's the best reason to choke, if there is any. You know what I mean? You were so good. And, the first 2 rounds are killer. And there's some good stuff in the third. The problem is it's a little bit pockmarked because you kind of have 3 sort of mini chokes. But that's not to say that there isn't like long stretches where there's bars after bars and it's really good and it's at the same level of the first 2. Cook MC's Bamalam show is kind of how you end it. But you say yourself, actually, towards the end, you basically almost end with Brandon Lee swag, Bulletz killed you in your best performance. And you say, I could have ended on that line. Like, you seem to kind of have this kind of almost stubbornness to want to keep going. And, obviously...
Yeah, because I literally thought, like, just end it now. Just end it now. Just stop now. That's what I thought in my head. I'm like, it's a good line. It's good. Let's just get out of here, and that's what I wanted to do. Bulletz killed you in your best performance. Like, I felt like he was going to have his best performance and that I was going to kill him. And it's like I was trying to just keep things going in a certain way, and when it came down to it, I just kept fighting instead of just like rolling over and just like, it's okay, man, you can live to fight another day. But I mean, at the end of the day, like, it was an epic choke. It was an epic destruction. His moment, I don't really care, to be honest, was an epic like body bag in the third. I'm not gonna lie and be like, if I did it all over again, I'd do it the same. No, hell no. But if I was gonna choke and I could say, let's get rid of that line or keep it, I'd keep it because it was a part of the battle and it was different.
Yeah. And then obviously Bam wins unanimously. The judges, interesting watching the judge decision. You have Jefferson Price, Mark Grist, Rizzle Kicks.
R.I.P.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, you see him in the front row of your battle, and it's just weird to see him there, not knowing what later awaits him that day. It's quite ominous, really.
I knew though.
Oh,
he didn't know.
Wow! Oh my god! You and Caustic just having this London trip, just telling each other everything.
I was in the room when everything was being.
Oh my god!
Everything that happened, I was in the room, and I'm like, oh man, it's crazy.
Yeah, and anyway. That I mean, you know, that was the fourth birthday event was just when I was kind of getting into Don't Flop, and I've attended a day of the subsequent 5th, 6th, and 7th birthdays, and none of them have seemed to have lived up to it at all, really. I mean, you know, I've been to great Don't Flop events since, not say the events are dead, but kind of the birthday crowds quite notoriously are quite, you know, just not very lively, really. And that is a slight venue issue as well. Certainly the Leeds venue for the 5th and 6th birthday was kind of odd. It was more of a gig venue, and it kind of didn't really give it that sense of intimacy that the 4th birthday.
No, I mean, you know what? Like, as I was saying before, it's all about just phases. And the 4th birthday was the beginning. Like, it was still in the middle. It was a time when everybody was just, this is the greatest thing ever. This is amazing. This is amazing. This is amazing. So that was it. There was no questions to it. And then what happened is, same thing would happen with Don't Flop. I mean, with King of the Dot. King of the Dot had like this one epic card. I think it was Blackout 3, maybe. Whatever Blackout one it was. It was the first one that was like a just complete epic card from top to bottom, where like every battle was crazy. It was, I forget. It was a Blackout
Was it Holohan Cortez? Was that the card?
Yeah, it would have been that card.
Yeah, I know which one you mean. Card. Yeah, the production on that is fantastic. It's got like Nameless, Kid Twist, and
and then after that, it was like they been given steak, and they're like, well, I really liked the hamburgers before, but I had steak. I want steak now. I want steak every single event. Like, I want to always eat steak. And Don't Flop's had some of these epic, crazy cards, and it's just like, you have to do so much more as a battler, as a league, as whatever, to get the kind of reaction that you used to be able to get. You know, the only difference is, which is great because, you know, Don't Flop has an amazing support system, like from the fans, is they still show up, you know, 1,000 at a time. You know what I mean? They still show up.